Got 5, 16, 19, 21, 33, and 10. Check results. You remember?
Holiday Doctor Way, and I'm about to lean into my like moist critical Penguin Zero bag in the sense that when he like starts the video and it's like he'll just say the most abstract kind of thing. Maybe not abstract, but like what feels unrelated. He'll be like, "Have you ever had a turbo turd so big that your asshole literally opened up and you felt like you were seeing the eye of Agamotto?" Well, I just watched Dune, and those sandworms, then it would just connect to something that feels like complete. Um, so my version today is gonna be. I literally just had to remind myself where I was even going with that. Yeah, so Penguin Zero, it's like he'll say this kind of unrelated thing, and then it'll all make sense in the end. I remember when I was younger, right? They like 40 winks. What was it? 20 chews and 40 winks. It's like, oh, well, we're gonna go and have our 20 chews and 40 winks. Like if you was on holiday, and that would just mean where you're gonna eat and sleep. Because apparently it takes 20 chews to eat. I don't know, and then 40 winks to sleep. I don't know where that's from. Probably some old man sitcom shit. I don't know, but it's just something I heard old people say. 20 chews and 40 winks, which couldn't be further apart from the main man Beavo, who seems to have reinvented the wheel. Um, cause he's learning he's learned from a different life form to me, because as far as I was aware, you chew your food and then you swallow it. He's adopted a more seagull like approach, and if you don't know, get to know the rules. Apparently, I'm still well on my way to learning the rules, but we're all on our own. We're all on different paths. We're all on our own part of the journey, so don't feel upset if you're a little bit behind on learning them rules. Um, he is a man or a seagull. Still not sure, but he is a man, I think, who he looks. He's quite a character. I think he kind of looks like all of the Ice Age characters rolled into one. Sid the Sloth, Manny the Mammoth, sort of with the hair and that, and then Sabretooth Tiger guy. But look, I just feel like people who do this kind of thing on TikTok are usually our characters. You don't usually get people who look like, I don't know, Timothy Chalamet or who's like big right now? Who's like just fucking up the world right now? I don't know. Is no one really doing it? Like Michael B. Jordan. You don't really get like desirable people of the world like that. Online swallowing in one chew or less, or like doing TikToks where they like, you know, I don't really watch TikTok, but there's definitely weird shit that goes on. Weird little circles and that. But yes, it's quite the character, and it's really as simple as he, reviews food. I just did a little air quotes with the two middle fingers. That's new. Where he reviews food. But you don't really, you come for the review, you stay for the consumption of that food, because he'll sit there and eat what looks to be a meal either he prepared or his mum prepared half the time. And if he's not doing that, he's eating food that looks like he could have prepared or his mum could have prepared. He's like going to travel lodges and eating that food, which like actually in concept is more of an interesting idea to like go rate food that is from like travel lodge food and stuff like that, instead of like, oh, I review, it's actually a different angle. So actually that I don't really actually think's interesting. What I don't think is interesting in this prism. I keep saying prism. I use that for everything recently. Not everything is through this prism. Anyway, through this whatever. But like, yeah, no, it's not about the reviews. If he gives it a 6 or a 7, it's not about that. It's about like, what is a man sitting there with a teeth whitening filter, eating roast dinners and fish and chips, chewing once. I mean, chewing is a plural thing, right? He chews once, and then inhales it, and then doesn't acknowledge what he's doing. And this is the thing. I don't know if he just eats. Well, I think like I do know, but like there's he either he just eats like that, and this is just a thing people picked up on with that's weird, or like he knew I've got to eat food and just do one thing that's weird and not because this is the thing. This is how most things get big. It's like you do something and then you do one thing in the video which is either wrong on purpose or weird, and then you just get a bunch of people commenting it like you don't know, but really I'm the big brain because I did this, so you would comment it and then build up the whatever, right? So he was kind of like, I need to do something like that, so I'll do food reviews. But then the one difference will be I was, oh fucking, you know, I'll new fucking hoover up the food, and you know that will just become a big thing, and then it has, and then you know now he's making up to 10 grand, which I don't know when this switched, but you could make this much money off TikTok because once upon a time it was you make zero money off TikTok. That was people's favorite thing to do was to flex their TikTok revenue. Well, not flex it, but to flex the fact that they'll be like, so this month I got 70 million views on TikTok, and that equated to 16p. So, and that everyone would do that. Now all of a sudden there's like a creator fund and stuff, and you can actually make money off TikTok. I don't know when this got put in place, um, but yeah, it is, and yeah. So I don't know if that's the case. It's so much nicer to imagine a world where he just eats like that, and now like him reading the comments was the realization of, oh, I eat weird. Um, but that obviously isn't the case. Even when you watch the video, it's like um, this is hurting him. He has almost died multiple times of trying to swallow that food in one bite. Um, like I feel like if you swallowed the food in one bite, it would look easier to you. It would kind of just be like, and it would look normal. Whereas here's my impression. You know, it's the one bite, and it's like this pause, this look of determination, almost constipation, to then and then swallow it. And then sometimes that pause lingers a lot longer than you usually see, and that's when you know Beavo's in trouble. That food is stuck there, and Beavo's life is slashing before his eyes. But so is that TikTok revenue, and so is that creator fund, and that's that drive that keeps him going, keeps him on that grind, um, which is crazy. It's crazy that some person's grind might be like, you know, I'm on the grind, man. Every day, wake up, gotta grind, man. Gotta get up 6 a.m. Gotta fucking, I don't know, what I gotta, you know, I gotta put in the work. And for some people, the grind is like, you know, I gotta wake up, man. I gotta eat my mom's roast dinner, and I gotta swallow it in one bite. Oh yeah, the grind every day, baby. Um, and that's what it is. That's what it is, Beaver. I gotta say, I salute you. Um, it's became a thing. I don't know how like what's the word, sustainable it is in both senses of the word in this scenario. Like I don't know how sustainable it is as a career path, um, which is crazy to call it a career path. To say that that suggests that kids could look at what Beavo's doing in school and say, I want to do that, become a food inhaler. I don't know what you'd call it. Right, so I don't know how sustainable it is as a career, as like how long can you eat food like that and people still care enough for you to make money from doing it. And secondly, I don't know how sustainable it is physically for him. You know, until it eventually kills him. And hey, maybe he will accept that. Like he died doing what he loved, eating food without tasting it. And that's the thing as well. Just even in like the rules of the world of that he's created, that he actually is, you know, rating the food. It's like, how could you? He'll eat a whole steak and go, oh, I had to chew that one twice, as if like that's too much work. And then he'll go, bit watery, 4 out of 10. And it's like, how would you even know? How would you possibly know? But that's the thing, you know. That's Beavo, and honestly, I'm glad people like Beavo exist. It just really brightens up my day. You know, it adds something. This is the beauty. This is the beauty of humanity, though, isn't it? It's like you don't see other creatures doing this. I can't imagine, you know, beavers have this kind of fun, you know, or like cockroaches, or like foxes or worms or shit. They're just like being them, just sort of eating food and like sleeping and shitting and stuff. But humans, they've got apps, and on those apps, people do stuff like this. I can't imagine aliens, higher life forms than that, if they find us. I can't imagine that they, you know, have this. I don't imagine they have, high life form beavos out there. That's a shame, if you ask me. Um, this is going to be a loose little kind of segue, but from from one villain to another, Doctor Who. Because honestly, Beavo could be a Doctor Who villain. You kind of just hear the chewing. For me, that's what's more scary. It's not like the swallowing in one bite. It's the when you do hear him chew. That's what you hear. But yeah, Doctor Who. It's the 60th anniversary specials. I watched them. I enjoyed them, but I complained as well, and I made a video about it. And I was like, it's lazy. He wants, Russ T Davies wants to do these fun things. He wants to, What about the scenario where two doctors can interact with each other? What about a scenario where this doctor gets to do this? What about a scenario where this guy does that? We haven't done this before, which is fine. I don't mind those things being the case. You want to do new things, you want to try out new fun scenarios, that's fine. But the way in which you work the story to get to the point where your characters are then doing these scenarios you came up with, that's what needs more work. Instead, he just goes, this would be fun, we haven't done this before, and then finds the first immediate way of making it happen. And I was like, that's kind of lazy, it's kind of lame. But whatever, I don't care. People that ate it up, they love the show, and Russ T Davies is apparently a god. I think the first one, it's very childish, it's very pantomime, but then, you get back into Doctor Who and you realise, you ask the question, was it always like this? Was it always this just goofy and weird? And then you quickly realise it was always this goofy and weird. And then you realise, I like the fact it's this goofy and weird. And then the goofy and weirdness maybe goes a little bit too far, and certain times you realise, oh, now it's too goofy and weird. And then you kind of just accept the fact that what can you do about it? It's just a goofy, weird show. And then you move on with your life. But yeah, new Doctor, new this and that. But Russell T Davies, I don't know, everyone loves him as a showrunner, and the best Doctor Who episodes are made under his watchful eye and this and that. And he's doing all this new stuff, and it's like, yep, I like this is all cool. But something about his, I don't know, I feel like he just, and again, he probably doesn't think he's some genius. This is just me projecting whatever views onto him that aren't even there. But he just comes across like he's this, he thinks he's this big brain who makes the best episodes, and he knows what's right. And the thing that gives me the biggest ick is, he kind of, I've seen him talk in interviews where he kind of acknowledges criticisms fans may have, and then immediately bats them away by just laughing at them as if they're stupid. That's what makes me think he has this kind of I'm this genius guy, because it's like in a film where they fall for wall break and they acknowledge they're doing something lazy in the writing, but then they make a joke about it, and that makes the lazy writing fine. It's like he acknowledges, yeah, we know that people are gonna have a problem with this, or this is gonna be this and that, but it's a bit of fun. I do what I want and whatever, and I make the best show. And he just irks me, but not in a big enough way where I could ever get people on side. I could ever talk to someone and be like, Russell T Davies, right? And they'd be like, why didn't you like him that much? And I'd be like, because I think he's maybe a little bit, big for his boots. And they go, that's not a real reason. And I go, true. But, apparently on set, I finally found something. Shooty swore. They didn't reveal what swear word. It was probably shit. Or, God forbid, it was something even less bad than that, like twat or something. And then apparently Russell T Davies called him into his office, which I don't even know what that means. There is no, if you're on set, there's no office. So the idea of him calling him into whichever, some, broom cupboard or whatever they were filming, being like, step into my office, is just the most Gervais, The Office. What's his name in The Office? Ricky Gervais. Can't remember, but it's just the most boss from The Office type thing ever. Because, like, it's not like we're working in a school or something, or like an office building where you would have an office. So it's a weird way to word it. Because, like, did he then? Because I'm sure he has an office somewhere. So did he then, like, once they got back to base, then call him into his office there and like, I don't know. Just this might not even be a real story, but like, because he swore and he was like dressed up as it was wearing the costume or whatever. And by the way, the costume is just like 70s clothes, basically. It's just like a suit. You know, it's like, it's not like the costume is something like the Spider-Man suit or something. It's just like, it's clothes that if you walk down Soho, you know, Hackney Wick or whatever, and you saw someone wearing it, you wouldn't think that's a man in costume. The same way if they was wearing a Spider-Man suit, you know, you think, oh, that's their fashion choices. Anyway, if you're wearing the suit, which this doesn't even fucking make sense, but if you're wearing it, don't swear. And I guess the point he's trying to make is the doctor is like this. It's for kids first and foremost, and it's like you're a role model now. You can't swear or whatever. So he told him that, and that's the only time he ever got in trouble on set. No, I'm the king of, you know, when you see quotes like this, it's probably like a lot more lighthearted. It probably wasn't that deep. It's like sometimes you see quotes from celebrities and like people read it and they go, oh, that person's a twat. But then if you actually heard the interview, they probably said it in a jovial, jokey way and it probably wasn't that deep, right? But regardless, just the idea of never getting in trouble once, and the reason you got in trouble is because you swore once as an adult at work. And it's like, if it was Spider-Man, for example, who I believe probably is allowed to swear, right? Who probably is allowed to swear. Like Tom Holland's probably allowed to swear in between takes, right? Or whatever. Even that though, I could get it. Fine. First of all, you're not allowed to swear in the costume. We're filming the first season of this show. No one knows what the costume is yet. This isn't an iconic thing. Like, this isn't... And also the costume changes with every Doctor anyway. But this isn't even been shown yet for it to even become like an iconic kind of look. Right? So to say you can... If you're wearing your own clothes and you're walking around, that's fine. But when you're dressed as the Doctor, no. It's like, what do you mean dressed? It's not a thing yet. Right? It's just like, it doesn't make sense. Second of all, you know... Like, who are we fucking kidding? You know, I mean, you can't say like, you can't be like, oh shit, between mates, between friends, because the kid's walking past and goes. Also, right, if someone sees Tom Holland, whether he's in the suit or not, and they're like 6, they're gonna see Spider-Man. Oh my god, that's Spider-Man, whether he's wearing the suit or not. So your logic would extend past wearing the suit. It wouldn't even make sense if you become that much of an iconic figure. And outside of all of this anyway, it's just fucking pedantic. Is that, if that's even the right word, and long. And like, it's one of those things where if it was one of my first days on set or meeting someone, and that was like one of the first interactions, I would just hit my head and be like, oh god, I really don't like this person. You know, those things which is like, Jesus, bad first impressions. And then he'd probably get the same about me, and then I'd be fired, and I'd lose all that great Doctor Who money, and then, you know, was it worth it? Yeah. But yeah, no, it probably wasn't that deep, and they seem to get on pretty well, so obviously he doesn't care, but it just adds to my agenda, and that's why I had to bring it up. Put it Dutch red, I don't know what number we're on. This is the third one of these I've done in a row, and still got more to do. Thank you. Donka Shem.
Here with the kids, and they had like 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet. He was like,